Hello YouTube, it is Sunday the 17th of October and another real mild day. I'm sure we'll pay for it somewhere, but these seasons certainly seem to have moved on along. Spring seems to be later and autumn seems to be later as well, but it'll hopefully all shorten the winter. Today I'm sowing broad beans and some field beans, both the same family. The one is for eating in the spring and early summer, and the other one is for green manure and also for eating as well during the winter months. There is quite a considerable difference in the size of the bean. The field beans are a lot smaller, but they are a very vigorous plant. I do believe that the harvest in the season just gone was not very good for the broad beans, field beans. And I think that's nationwide here in the UK. The broad beans that I'll be sowing for eating in the spring are aqua dulce. I think they're a common variety for sowing in autumn. They're very hardy and they will go through the winter pretty much with no problem. I also do sow some broad beans in the spring again, which gives me, when these are finished, the spring sown ones are just about ready for harvesting. With the autumn sown ones, you also stand a better chance of missing the black fly, which do love the tender shoots on the top. These field beans, I shall be sowing these usually where I'm going to have greens next year, brassicas, lettuce and things like that, because they give a good nitrogen fix to the ground. And the company I get these off is a company called Sow Seeds. They're a family run business and they seem to give good service. They've never been a problem with me, so that's where I get mine from. But I shall be trying to save some of these seeds, I think, for next year, for growing the following year after for myself, and see how I get on with those. So that's a close-up of the beans, and you can see a difference in the size. But don't be fooled by these small ones. They are a vigorous plant, and if left to go to seed, they produce a lot of small pods with about 3 or 4, maybe 5 seeds in them. They are edible, but I don't think they're as tasty as the other ones. Otherwise they would be commercially available over the counter. My ordinary broad beans, the aqua dulce, I shall be growing in these pots here to start them off. I usually put them straight in the ground, but you do get casualties with rot off and vermin as well. So I shall be starting them off this year, which I don't usually do. This is the first year I've done this in these pots. You want a deep pot, good square pot, because the roots are quite vigorous, and by the size of the bean you can see that they want a good sized pot. And then once they're established, I shall put them straight out into the ground. They won't go inside. I shall leave these outside to germinate in this container, and I've got about 20 seeds there, which is enough for us. Obviously with growing some later on in the spring, that's not a bad harvest for the two of us. And I should be putting them in these beds, quite a few beds, the green manure ones, and about 7 centimeters deep, about 10 centimeters apart. If you're doing them in rows, do the rows about 20 centimeters apart, but here I'm just doing them in a block, so I'm doing them all 10 centimeters in every direction. And you just dib your hole away, not a problem, to your required depth, and just plant one per station. Now the field beans for me are just an absolute no-brainer. Here's a swan going over, I don't know if you picked that up. They grow throughout the winter and you can keep taking the tops off them, and you can steam the tops. It's got a mild broad bean flavour. You could even have them in salads, raw in salads, and they will feed you no problem all the way through the winter. And then when the spring comes and you want the ground to grow something else, you pull the whole plant out. What I do is I put my fingers around the stem and just pull, and then you leave a lot of the root sinews in and little baubles off the roots. Now these little baubles, they look like warts. They're full of nitrogen, and that gives the ground a nitrogen fix. You can dig the whole plant into the ground if you wish, but here I'm no dig, so I don't do that. But those little warts on the end of the roots will stay in, and they will feed the ground with nitrogen. And then the plant yourself that's left, you put straight on the compost heap. So you're getting fed throughout the winter, you're getting nitrogen fix in the spring, and you're also getting compost. And I think that's an absolute no-win, no loss situation. It's a win all round. So for me, field beans are just a no-brainer. I can't see why they aren't grown a lot more. And the ordinary broad beans, all as I shall do, if you see you've got a scar on the bottom of those, and then you'll see an indentation. If I just put my glasses on, I can see what I'm doing. Indentation there, kidney shaped. Well, that indentation, what I do is I plant that way, because that is where the root comes out. You can see it better there. A lot of people scar down, but I put mine that way in and then just push them all the way down and give them a cover over, and they should grow away no problem at all. Like I say though, as soon as these have come up and they've got 3 or 4 of the main leaves on, I shall get these planted straight into the ground. These won't go inside, they'll stay outside and take the elements. I hope this is of help to you. It's like I say, unbelievable the weather we're getting at the moment, but I'm sure it'll come back to bite us. I'd like to thank everybody that wished me well while I wasn't putting YouTube videos up. Those people know who they are, and I will be giving them a mention. It's very kind of you to keep in touch and to ask after my well-being. Take care everybody, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, bye bye. Tug of war, and the one with the most legs is losing. Where are you taking him? He's good in the garden. He's a good friend.